Okay, so we're going to attempt to do something a little different than usual, and that is replace the thermal paste on this gaming laptop, because in the past it has crashed pretty frequently, especially when gaming on it. And so I think it's crashing because it's overheating all the time and not like an actual hardware issue. So we're going to try and replace the thermal paste, and hopefully I can fix it, I suppose. The last time I think I cracked this thing open, things didn't go too well, as in like I looked at it and was like, yeah, there is no way I'm going to be able to repair this. And then I just closed it back up and called it a day. And this laptop has actually been RMA'd back to Asus a long time ago when we first got it, because it would literally crash every time you booted it up, and it was pretty much worthless. They supposedly replaced the main board on it, or the motherboard, whatever you want to call it, and it has worked pretty well ever since. But anytime you do any serious gaming, especially with an external display, it just crashes. And I just realized not all of these screws are the same height, which is awesome. So thank you for that, Asus. That is a real Apple move. But I guess on the plus side, we don't really use this laptop for anything anymore, so it's kind of okay if we don't get the screws put back in the right place. So I'm just kind of organizing these on the desk how I think they went. Yeah, it seems good. So let's see if we can get this bad boy open. I wonder if this is one of those that like opens from the keyboard instead. Man, I don't even know if I know how to open this thing. Okay, no, yeah, it doesn't. All right, we'll get my little wedge tool, whatever this is actually called. There we go. Yeah, that's much easier now. All right, there we go. So let's pull up on the battery there for a moment. Gotta break this thing. I have a strong feeling I'm gonna break this thing. Okay, cool. So check this out. So we just opened it, right? And I literally haven't touched anything. And this is I think this is supposed to go onto the NVMe drive. I think. At least it looks like it should go there, because it's about the same length and everything. But yeah, maybe it is. Maybe we should go about like this. But it was over this, so I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. So a good amount of dust buildup inside of here on both fans. That could be part of the problem. But we're going to see if we can remove all of this anyway and put some new thermal paste on there. Disconnected the battery, so hopefully we don't kill anything now. Now what's really cool about this particular model, and one of the reasons why I bought it, is because it does have expandable memory. And I believe the other stick is actually on the other side of this main board, which is pretty cool. It also has this is a 256 gigabyte NVMe drive and then a 1 terabyte hard drive. So this thing has a 1060 in it as well. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty sweet. It was a pretty sweet purchase back in the day. Alright, so I'm not sure how much of this actually needs to be removed, but we're just going to start unscrewing things, and hopefully we can remember exactly where they all go. Ooh, I just dropped one of the fan screws, and that's probably gone forever, but I have a magnet somewhere on the wall that's black, so I can't actually see it. And I'm hoping that I will be able to find that with that magnet later. Oh, jeez. We're off to a great start. Yeah, I probably should have watched another YouTuber take one of these apart, because I bet there is a video of them taking this thing apart. It's not something I actually looked at, but In retrospective, I probably should have done that. All right, let's take a closer look at this thing before we start removing everything. All right, so here are the tiny heat pipes. I'm guessing one of these is the CPU, one of these is the GPU. This one looks a lot bigger, so I'm guessing this is the 1060 that's in here on this side, and this one's probably the CPU, which I don't even remember what CPU this has. Maybe like a 6700 in here, and it's pretty small. I wouldn't say it's the most well-designed thing in the world, but it probably gets the job done most of the time. All right, let's see what's underneath this black tape. Okay, nothing. All right, removed both of the fans. Yeah, there's some, look at this dust buildup. That's probably part of the problem right here. Oh yeah, this is really clogged. Yeah, I kind of wish I had some dust spray. I might have to hit this with a vacuum. The other side's not so bad. Oh, okay, that came right up. Holy cow. All right, so that's all the thermal paste for the GPU. The CPU. Looks like they put thermal paste on the, what is it called, VRAM? So the chipsets have thermal paste, it looks like. It's a little bit all over the place. Thermal paste there, thermal paste over here. And I wouldn't say that's a lot of thermal paste for a GPU, so that's what we're looking at. It's not a whole lot. There seems to be some sort of oil buildup on this. It's interesting. All right, let's get this cleaned up. And hopefully, I do want to vacuum it too, but I'll do that off camera so that way you guys don't have to listen to all the noise. And so anyway, so hopefully this helps by replacing the thermal paste. Now, I think I'm just going to use my Corsair thermal paste, and I'll probably bust out the Kingpin thermal paste another day. Actually, I probably should just use that stuff. Nah, we'll wait. Maybe one of the next client builds, they'll be lucky and they'll get some of that. How is this thing not exploded? I think what I really need is some thermal pads, because I don't think the thermal paste is even going to reach all of these components. It seems to be some sort of goop anyway. It's not even really like thermal paste. It's like really sticky stuff. I've never seen anything like this. So this thermal compound, whatever's on here, is just absolutely dry. I don't know. I think this laptop's about 4 years old, maybe close to 5. It's literally just peeling away. Seems like there's some sort of manufacturing defect. That's not thermal paste. I tried scratching it off a little bit, but all I did was damage the copper block a little bit. And there's another one on this side. Not really sure what that is. I think these used to be thermal pads, but they've like legitimately just lost their elasticity. I mean, I've never been able to wipe away a thermal pad like this before. I mean, it just like literally wipes away. I can't tell if this is like an old thermal pad that's just totally broken down or if it's actual thermal paste. One of you guys out there probably knows exactly what it is. All right, that's probably good enough. Not the best cleaning job I've ever done, but still a bunch of residue right there, but I really can't reach it, and I think it'll be fine to sit there. I did go a little heavier on the thermal paste because I'm not really sure if this heat pipe's going to make these heat pipes are going to make good contact on everything. So I just put a little extra. It's going to get literally everywhere. It should be fine. It's non-conductive, of course, and I'm not worried about getting the rest of the the rest of the motherboard dirty. I don't know if I mentioned it, but one of the problems with this particular laptop also is that the battery doesn't hold a charge or anything in the world. It basically gives out immediately, and feeling the batteries itself, they do feel a little bloated, so that's probably part of the problem. I would order a replacement, but I don't think I can get one at this point because it's so old. I gotta find that screw. I need my very powerful magnets, and I don't know where they are. Yeah, I can't find my magnets, my good magnets, so we're going to use these cheapo magnets and just run this over the floor and see if we can find that last screw. Hey, there we go. Never fails. Let's get this put back on and we're done. Oh, I forgot to connect the battery. Dang it. All right, let's get her booted up and see what happens. Okay, it seems to be booting, which is good news. It is booted. Now, one thing I didn't do that I wish I did was actually check the thermals before I changed the paste. Then we won't know if this is doing any better. All right, let's get Steam going, and I will hopefully install some benchmarks to run overnight or however long. Here are the temperatures right now as they stand. It's 49 degrees Celsius and rising. It was at 46 before I hit the record button. These are the different cores on the CPU. I'm not entirely sure what this temperature is right here, and then this is our 256 gigabyte NVMe drive. I think this package ID is the total average of the cores that is also rising or jumping up and down. Not really sure what's going on in the background. It could be Steam. So 74 is pretty toasty. The fans aren't spun up quite yet, so nothing to be concerned about. 3D Mark wouldn't run on Pop OS, but I found this at GTK stress testing, which is CPU only, and that's all right. It's been running for 14 minutes and 22 seconds, almost 15 minutes, and the maximum CPU temperature we've reached on the entire package has been 82 degrees Celsius. And then on the individual cores, we've seen up to 82 degrees Celsius, obviously. So I think that's pretty good so far, but unfortunately, with the way the heat pipe is designed, I think we're going to have to hit the GPU at the same time as well as the CPU. Currently, the GPU is sitting at 52 degrees Celsius, so that's pretty cool. Not the best for a mobile GPU, but I'd still say it's pretty cool. And the 6700's pretty toasty, but not bad. I really should have gathered the temperatures before I changed the thermal paste, but I'm confident that this is perfectly fine for this laptop. All right, well, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to install Windows on this to actually do any sort of not real testing per se, but get some tests going on where we can hit the GPU and CPU at the same time. Well, it's time for the long, arduous process of installing Windows. My God, this is gonna take forever. Installed Windows, installed 3D Mark, installed TimeSpy. Hasn't crashed yet. It's run a couple of times on TimeSpy, no problem so far. But one thing we need to take a look at before we call it quits is what the GPU and CPU temperatures are, because I haven't done that just yet. While running these benchmarks, I've just been running them and seeing if it crashes at all. So let's let this one finish for the third time, and then we will take a look at the temperatures. I actually just remembered that TimeSpy does keep record of the temperature. So on the combined test, I believe this is, our temperature for our CPU rose to about 94 degrees Celsius, and our GPU actually did a pretty good job staying at 74 degrees Celsius, or around 75 degrees Celsius. So I'd say the GPU here in all these tests actually is good. Looks like we peaked at like 75, almost 76 degrees Celsius for the GPU. Not seeing any temperatures above 75, almost 66, almost 76. But for the CPU, on the other hand, looks like we topped out at 94 degrees Celsius on the combined test, which is pretty toasty. Maybe Well, no, I just tightened those screws down pretty good, so I don't think that's the problem. But that's pretty dangerous, I would say. I don't think we're going to hit that in gaming, I don't believe. I guess it kind of depends on what games we would play. But honestly, I think this looks pretty good. I really wish I would have got the results before changing the thermal paste. All right, well, there you have it. A pretty simple video. I think that was pretty different from what we've seen in a long time. I feel like I haven't really played with hardware itself in quite a while, so it's kind of nice to tinker around a little bit and especially open up some hardware, and you know, change some thermal paste is about as basic as it comes, but it was still fun for me to do anyway. So anyway, guys, I think this might be the last video for December, and then it's like just straight vacation time until the new year. So it's going to be a while until I see you guys. There might be a live stream between now and the end of the year, but I don't know yet. We'll see what happens there. So I want to thank all of you who watched, and I will see you all again next time. Enjoy the holidays.